also part, but you have to give least importance for that. Okay, that concept clarity will lands you, or it will takes up to you. Great, right, sir? Really, this is the real thing, sir. So we started with biological science before entering into this environmental science subject. Just we'll have a glimpse about this. Okay, how organisms evolve, what is life, what is the beauty of life, how we couldn't omit any part of environmental component. So each and every part of the components of the environment is playing an important role, sir. We can't neglect any particular component as this is playing a silly role. Everything is very important, right? So why this is happening? So then we have to know who we are. Without having a knowledge of who am I, then reading the entire stuff which is surrounding me, that becomes useless. Right, sir? So we have to know who we are. So can someone tell what is the number of cells in a human adult, sir? In an adult human being, what is the number of cells present? Can you give a rough guess? Someone you can chat in the chat, comment in the chat box. That is 7.5 million. Okay, sir. So we can't even 37 trillion. Taba. Okay. So why I'm asking these questions is these are some sensitizing thing. This understanding is very, very important. So this imagination, this perception, right, sir? The real understanding of who we are, that is very, very important. Without understanding, without knowing who we are, how our body is made of, then what is the purpose of reading other stuffs? That becomes useless. Let it may be geography, let it may be science or anything, but first we have to know who we are. Actually, the number of cells present in an adult human being is 15 trillion cells, sir. It is not 37 or something, it is 15 trillion. Have it in mind, simply have it in mind. It is 15 trillion cells. So what is a trillion? 1 lakh crores makes a trillion, sir. Can you imagine? 1 lakh crores makes a trillion. Then imagine the volume of cells which is present in our body with the same features. Most of the cells, majority of the cells will have the same features. What is present in the single cell where we made the first start in the womb, not in the womb. Where we made our first start, sir, where the fertilization of the egg takes place. I told this is very important. Where does the fertilization of egg takes place? Can someone tell me, sir? Sir, make it faster. You know that, yes, Pankaj, it is fallopian tube. You know that we used to interact a lot. Without interaction, it becomes useless. So kindly, possible, say yes or no. Yes, Pankaj, thank you. It is fallopian tube. It is a very slender tube. Okay. So here, the fusion of egg cell and the sperm cell takes place for a particular time period. For the initial stage of the single cell division, it will be there. After that, it starts rolling. The cell starts rolling and it reaches the uterus, right? That is called as implantation, and the baby starts growing there. So imagine in very rare cases, when the egg starts developing inside the fallopian tube itself. Imagine, sir, when the baby starts growing in the fallopian tube itself, then there is a chance that the fallopian tube may burst out. Did I told what is the condition of this particular disorder, sir? It is a very rare phenomenon where the egg growth takes place directly in the fallopian tube before reaching the uterus, or instead of reaching uterus, the baby starts growing in the fallopian tube. What type of pregnancy is this, sir? So I am asking these questions because it is equally important in prelims as well as in mains. What is this kind of pregnancy is called as, sir? Anyone, sir? Sir, kindly say yes or no, sir, at least. Ectopic, super. I am happy that you remember many of the things, because once they have asked, make a short notes on ectopic pregnancy. Thank you, Snega. Ectopic pregnancy, right? So these are some problems Okay, when the female is not that much stronger, this may happen, ectopic pregnancy. The same thing, it will be some life-threatening issue. So imagine how our nature has designed us, everything is set right in a proper manner. So 15 trillion cells arranged in this body, there is an order. So various components of the environment, let it may be a grass, let it may be a huge tree, let it may be a microorganism, let it may be any kind of components of the environmental part, everything, there is a sequential arrangement. There is an interaction taking place in all of these, between all of these organisms and between the human being and the other components. We are studying it as environmental science. That has a value to be noted out. Okay. There is a value. I told that whether environmental science comes under the domain of what do you call this, subjective or objective studies, sir? That is a question in prelims. Environmental science, it is subjective or objective study? Because I started my class making it clear about subjectivity and objectivity, right? Objective, sir. Very good, sir. Objective. There should be some proof for whatever I'm speaking. I should not tell some stories to you guys. That is the beauty of science, right, sir? But sociology, it is not objective. There may be some, it is subjective to variation. This thing will not happen in environmental science. It is being an emerging science. We have proof for each and every things we are speaking. Okay, so all of these 15 trillion cells, they are arranged in our body in such a fusion, in such a fashion that there won't be any overlap. If any overlap is happening here, what will be taking place, sir? If any overlap is taking place in this cell, our very survival will be question mark, right? Our survival will be question, sir. Say in this girl baby diagram, so all of the cells are arranged in a particular order. When the cell is losing its order, what it will be resulting with, sir? So the 15 trillion cells present in our body, they maintain some space between them, right, sir? At the minuscule level, there will be some space present between all of these cells. This particular space is very, very prerequisite. It is necessary for our normal functioning. So can someone tell what is this particular concept is called as, sir? The space present between two cells. When this particular principle in our body is overcome, then it results in producing cancer. This even we discussed, sir. Then what is the principle, sir? Why we are living happily? Why I'm with it without any diseases? Why I'm without any disorders? There is a particular principle which is maintained as a fundamental thing between ourselves. What is this principle, sir? Anyone, sir? So I thought of it as a quick revision because you guys are already done with these stuffs. Yeah, interstitial space. More than that, we can tell that it is contact inhibition, right, sir? Contact inhibition. So that cells will not happily contact each other. So there is an inhibitory principle, right? Contact inhibition. They avoid contact unless and when it is necessary. So whenever there is a necessity, these cells may communicate, have to communicate. After the communication, after a particular function is performed, the cell which came into contact, they will come to its original position by leaving a space. This particular character which is present in the cell is called as contact inhibition. Right, sir? So when do these cells will communicate, sir? When this cell is filled with full of nutrients, when this particular cell is completely filled with all of the food materials, then it will be bulging. It will be get bulged. Now the size of this cell will increase. By this way, by osmotic pressure, they will transfer the food to the adjacent cell. Right, sir? Once done with transfer of food materials, again they will retain its original position. This is contact inhibition. So imagine, sir, 15 trillion cells packed in a body. They maintain a space, they come in contact, they will revert back to its original position. Okay, this is knowingly, unknowingly, it is happening in our body for our proper function of our body mechanism. We can't tell that I am the superior thing. Your cells are more superior. Okay, you are thinking because of your cells. These things we discussed, right, sir? So the cell, some feature of cells we discussed, right? So what are the features of the cell? So classification of organism, the cell, initially nothing was known about the cell. So who kickstarted finding a cell, sir? Who found the dead cell from pith of the plant? Repeatedly asked the question, sir, in competitive exams. Robert Hooke Taba, very good, right? Robert Hooke, he found, unfortunately, he ended up finding up dead cells. But we couldn't arrive at various details about a real cell. Then came Anton von Leeuwenhoek. He found out what's a living cell. He is also acclaimed as father of bacteriology. Then many things, new things started emerging about what is a cell is. A live cell was made by live cell and L comes. Live cell by Anton von Leeuwenhoek. Right, sir? Father of bacteriology. So now various features about cell is being studied. But this by this time of Anton von Leeuwenhoek, okay, there was development in microscope. So when microscope emerged, now still more things started emerging about these cells. We gained information more about cells. What is a cell made up of? Okay, at the very inception, okay, cells are classified as prokaryote and eukaryote. We know these things. So pro means first formed one, karyote means nucleus. Right, sir? Pro means first one. So when something is formed at the initial level, so obviously it will be lacking some features. So it will not be a complete cell. Right, sir? So prokaryote, when I'm speaking as prokaryote, it is incomplete cell. Whereas it means true, right, sir? True. It is a developed, a complete, all of the components present will be evolved. So this is eukaryote. You see here, still in eukaryote level, we have single cell and multicellular organisms. Right, sir? So in multicellular, we human beings are multicellular. I told we are made up of 15 trillion number of cells. So plant cells, animal cells, examples of eukaryotic cell. Okay. Then what we discussed, sir? So at the initial stage, nothing before finding about cells, some philosophers came. He's not a scientist, they are philosophers. So they made classification of organism based on the external features. That was the available things by that time, right? By seeing the external features, they started classifying some organisms. So for a layman thing, we can tell that even if I'm a learned person or a illiterate person, I can tell something differentiation about what is a plant is and animal is, right? So that was the initial stage of classification of organism, something as plant and animal kingdom. So all of the organism at the initial stage, by external features, they classified it as plant and animal kingdom. Who gave this classification, sir? Plant kingdom and animal kingdom. No scientific evidence. Simply they told organisms are either it may be a plant or else animal. Who is father of, here comes, who is father of classification? Very good. Thank you, Pankaj. It's Aristotle. Aristotle, right, sir? That's why he's a philosopher. Aristotle. He gave plant and animal kingdom classification, but this stuff is not sufficient. When the advancement of over years, over era, when the advancement is happening, with this particular classification, we can't march upon. There needed more because we are finding more of organisms, sir. These days we are using more of organisms as a foodstuff. So say we are eating mushrooms. We are using microorganisms in our food, especially modified microorganism in the form of some cool drinks. Okay, in the name of probiotics, it is available in the markets. Probiotics, the first formed organisms. Have you ever heard about this probiotics, sir? Anyone, sir? Have you? Probiotic drinks. What is a probiotic drink, sir? This is a main question. Biotic means we know, I told that give importance to etymology. That is why a particular name has been derived. What is a probiotic thing, sir? Anyone, sir? Can someone type it faster, sir? Beneficial bacteria, right? Very good, sir. Beneficial. They are the first formed one. These those microorganisms which are beneficial for human being, we are using it for our food complement, right, sir? Probiotic drink, I told Yakult. Okay, even lassi, what you take from curd, lassi, it is a kind of probiotic, naturally developed probiotic. When I'm fermenting this milk, it will get converted into curd. The curd is nothing but a probiotic thing. Many beneficial things are more than drinking milk. If you take buttermilk or if you take more of curd, okay, it is next level of advancement of the same food material with this kind of beneficial microbes. So they will convert this particular foodstuff to some other more beneficial form. They will be rich in more of calcium. They will be rich in many other food supplements, right, sir? So Aristotle gave this classification, and next comes Carolus Linnaeus. He classified two kingdom classification, right, sir? Binomial nomenclature, right, sir? Father of binomial nomenclature. Two names, that is binomial. Nomial means name. Binomial nomenclature, that is names, right? Two names, binomial nomenclature. So the thumb rule we have discussed in class, how to write the scientific names and other stuffs. Okay, sir. What is the thumb rule? The language should be in Latin language, right? It consists of two components. That is the genus name followed by species name. The genus name should be written in capital letter, and the species name should be in small letter, right, sir? They have to underline separately. If it is typed, it should be italics. These are the steps we have discussed about binomial nomenclature. And what is the importance of binomial nomenclature? Why I have to choose Latin as a language? Anyone, sir? What is the purpose to choose Latin language? So these type of interaction you will get when you are going for interview. At the time of interview, they may ask questions like this. What is the importance, sir? Why I need a common language to write the scientific names? Anyone, sir? So see, this is the utility of this naming thing, sir. So here we have Neem, right? The scientific name of Neem. What is the scientific name of Neem, sir? These steps we have discussed in class. In our offline classes, we have discussed what is the scientific name of Neem. If you go to some temperate area, in temperate regions, you can't find a Neem tree. So what is the scientific name of Neem? But you can, if you are going to Azadirachta indica, fine, thank you, sir. Azadirachta indica. So here there will be some inference-based question. Directly you can expect in prelims. What is the chemical present in, natural chemical present in Neem? Then it is Azadirachtin sneha. Right, sir? So most of the questions they won't ask in a stupid manner, sir. Mostly they will ask in an inference-based attitude. Sometimes they will give the name straightly Azadirachta indica. Sometimes they will ask what is the component present in Neem, which is an antibiotic. Azadirachta indica. So the name implies that Neem is of native of India. So we can reap the benefits of Neem. So if you go to villages, still they used to brush with the Neem twigs. Okay, then the Westerners came, they told that, they insisted us that this kind of practices is uncivilized practices. Still they are brushing with some kind of twigs. Okay, when the commercial market came, when open market came, they introduced brush, and we are used to do that. Okay, sir. Now we all have to spend more for tooth decay, maintenance of our teeth. Many of you guys might have went on this RCT in teeth. What is RCT, sir? Anyone? These are some quite common problem what we are facing out of modern lifestyle. In teeth, what is RCT? Sir, I will ask anything which is relevant to civil service only, our preparation only. What is RCT? Did we discuss, sir? Root canal treatment. Very good. It is root canal treatment. As a tree is growing inside the soil, the tree, it will sends its root inside to the soil. You can see like this, sir. This is the tree canopy. It is beneath the soil. It is spreading. It is sending its root. Likewise, we have seen even dentine formula. Did we, sir? Have we finished dental formula in our classes? You compare a tree with the roots, sir, with our teeth, sir. It's a tree, and this is our teeth. Yes, sir, we did dental formula. Then you have to tell, sir. Thank you. So now we are making comparison here, sir. Can you make an imagination how a tree is being rooted beneath the soil? Our teeth is being rooted, right, sir? Through some veins. Okay, that's why we are feeling the pain when the teeth is being plucked off. So when the cavity is formed here, improper brushing, okay, or for a long time period, when the food particles and other stuffs get stuck here, there will be more of decay action because of microbial activity, and this starts decaying. When this starts decaying, this is a dead parts. That's why we are not feeling the pain. But when the decay is spreading more, when it is getting intensified, when the cavity is getting intensified, it will touch our pulp region. Okay, where the place where the teeth is joined here. This is sensitive area here because we have some nerve cells here. Nerve cells. We can feel the pain when the hole is being intensified, right, sir? So now this treatment is called as RCT, root canal treatment. So up to where there is spoilage, it will be treated, and artificial teeth or any filling can be made here, right? So for everything there is a pattern, sir. If it is a life form or else if it is a non-life form, there is a connection between we all. So this is a comparison, sir. Do you accept this comparison, sir? A tree, the top canopy and the root in the same fashion, a teeth. Yes, sir. Fine, fine. Okay. So this binomial now, if you see any of the paste, even in modern days, now if you see Colgate advertisement or close-up advertisement, whether your paste has neem. So that is the basic component. They are adding this component in our paste in modern day where we are living, guided by the market, guided by the lifestyle. But our ancestors, not even me, sir. When I was a kid, I used to brush using this Neem tube only. Now it was told as uncivilized. Now people, the factories, the industries, Colgate, that paste industry, they are extracting these components from the neem and they are adding in our paste. How foolish we are, sir. Market guided flows, right? So if say some disease is emerging, even for smallpox and other stuffs, they won't go for doctor, hospitals. They will spread the fellow in neem leaf only. They will make the fellow to bath with neem soaked water, neem leaf soaked water. These are the conventional method of treatment. Still now it has been practiced in some parts of India. Understand, sir? So for a particular disease, when there is a disease emergence, scientist has found or someone is telling that neem will be a good medicine for it will completely removes the particular organism. This thing I have to tell to some other fellows. This particular concept I have to share with some other fellows who has not at all seen a neem tree, who has not at all known a neem tree, a country which is in a temperate area. I can't tell neem. If I tell neem, they can't understand, because neem is the name which is given here, which is used here. So to avoid this confusion only, I need a common language. That chosen language is Latin. It is universally accepted. So the benefits of the nature, the knowledge of the nature, the knowledge of the components of the organism present in the ecosystem, everything should be easily understandable by all of the fellow folks throughout the earth. That's why we are chosen what, sir? Latin language is the common language to avoid confusions. Is it clear, sir? Sir, are you getting me what I'm speaking? Am I going faster or slower? Can you tell? Shall we proceed in the same pace, sir? Fine, fine. Okay. So this classification then came to binomial nomenclature. Carlos Linnaeus, he played a role, but still it is not complete. When times are passing, new species, which is, I couldn't connect that species with the plant or else with the animal. It is looking somewhat differently. Where to place these confusions emerged. Okay, where to place a fungi? Previously, it was joined with the plant. Where to place a protozoa? These confusions emerged. So, two kingdom classification is not sufficient. Then came what, sir? Five kingdom classification. Who gave five kingdom classification, sir? Who gave five kingdom classification? Very good. R.H. Whittaker. Okay. He gave five kingdom classification. Since it's a revision class, I make it faster. If you have any doubts and clarification, kindly make me a stop, sir. We'll pass and move slower. Okay. R.H. Whittaker, for exam point of view, we'll discuss it faster. He gave five kingdom classification. This order, I told, it is important. This sequential order is important. It starts with Monera, then Protista, fungi, plantae, and finally comes Animalia, which occupies the last component in the ladder of five kingdom classification. Animalia, we people are animals. We are of no use. We derive food. Okay, we derive food from plants or all of these fellows, other fellows. That's why we come in the last category, Animalia, in the five kingdom classification. Coming to the features of Monera, monoera, that is Monera. Okay, the single-celled organisms dominated the world. They were the pioneer to come. They are unicellular. If they are the pioneer, they are what, sir? They are the prokaryotes. Obviously, they should be a prokaryote. This will be a connective question. So, Monera belongs to which group of organism, whether it is prokaryote or eukaryote? It is very simple. The first formed one should be obviously prokaryotic organisms only. So, here there are some exception. Bacteria comes in Monera. How to commonly name this bacteria, sir? Can someone else tell, sir? I don't know what is the name of the bacteria which occupied this time. What is the name of the bacteria? I don't know. But if I want to give a common name for all of the bacteria which were present in this Monera, how to name it, sir? Can anyone tell, sir? We have discussed in classes. What would be the common name for this bacteria which were present in the Monera? Based on its feature, based on its living condition. Can someone, sir? Focus is it is about the shape, Mr. Pankaj. Okay. If it is spherical, it is called as coccus shape. If it is rod shape, then it is called as bacillus. Many of the times, these type of questions have been featured in prelims. Rod-shaped bacteria are called as what? It is called as bacillus type of bacteria. Rod is bacillus. Where you have heard this bacillus, sir? All of you aspirants, quite obviously, might be familiar about this word bacillus. Lactobacillus, fine. Lactobacillus in curd, very good. And in recent in agriculture, in parlance with agriculture, have you heard this word Bacillus? Even we have discussed in classes, sir. I do remember. Something about BT. I gave the clue, BT. BT cotton. What is BT, sir? It is nothing but Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay. Bacillus thuringiensis. It is a soil-borne bacteria, right? BT cotton, that there was a huge cry. BT cotton should be banned. So the inference what I can make here is Bacillus thuringiensis means this particular bacteria is nothing but a rod-shaped bacteria. If it is coccus, coccus is nothing but shape. It is nothing but spherical. If a bacteria is spherical shape, then it is coccus. Spherical shape is coccus. So what was my question, sir? So no one remembers this, sir. So first formed organism, they comes under which group? They are called as archaebacteria, right? Am I right or not, sir? It is called as archaebacteria. Why it is an archaebacteria, sir? I don't know what is the exact name of the bacteria, even though if there is a option as archaebacteria, the first formed organisms are generally classified as archaebacteria. Did I told, sir? Did we discussed in our classes archaebacteria, right? So archae means archaeology. That is the root word, right? What we are familiar about. Archaeology means studying about some older things. Okay. Our past features, our past cultures, sculptures, artifacts. Archaeology means age old. So these bacteria, archaebacteria are age old bacteria. Obviously, Monera, all of the archaebacteria comes under Monera kingdom only because they are the age old bacteria, right, sir? This is clear. So here, bacteria are the first formed one, but I need algae. So here, the exception among all the algae, blue-green algae are the oldest algae, sir. So don't confuse here. If a question is asked, algae comes under which group of 5 kingdom classification, then obviously it should be Protista. Understand, sir? If it is a general question, predominantly algae is classified under which group of 5 kingdom classification means the answer is Protista. But I need algae even in Monera. Why, sir? That is the exception. Generally, all of the algae is coming under Protista, but exceptionally, blue-green algae, they are the pioneer algae. Why it is needed in this monoera, sir? There will be some more of time gap between this Monera and Protista to evolve. After Monera organisms has evolved, they will redefine the environment. They make the environment conducive for next organisms to thrive upon. So likewise, over year after year, period after period, year after era, these organisms have transformed our environment suitable for what, sir? Plant growth or tree growth, as well as human being and other animals. Do you accept this, sir? Is it acceptable? Do you connect what I'm speaking? Can you connect, sir? Can you understand what I'm speaking, sir? Yes, sir. Yes. Okay. So now I made a question. Here, algae figures under Protista. Then why there is an exception? Blue-green algae should be present here, sir. Present here exceptionally in Monera. This is a value-based question, sir. This understanding you people have to derive. By common sense, what we can tell, sir, why algae should be present here. Pioneer species of algae, that's the thing I am telling, sir. There is pioneer species of algae. Okay, even I can tell these organisms, whatever present the Protista, are nothing but the evolved form of the bacteria. Right? That is the general inference we can derive. So I told UPSC examination is simple exception Examination if you are strong in your inferences. So say a meeting is going to be organized, sir. Tomorrow there is a meeting in one particular place. So a huge of some 2,000 participants is going to participate in that particular event, which is going to be held tomorrow. And there will be some 5 or 10 organizers will be there. So participants will be coming to the meeting tomorrow only, around say some 2,000 or some number of participants. But these 10 organizers have to go to that particular place some week before to make that area accommodative for all of the participants, so that there won't be any mishaps. Not only the physical accommodation, they have to accommodate, they have to evolve a plan for that program, a schedule, right, sir? Right. So here, what is needed, sir? Why this blue-green algae is needed here? Because I told when the Earth was at the initial stage, even the continent was single, right? A single continent was there. What do you call that single continent, sir? Pangea, right? There was a single continent, right? Pangea. And one single water body that is called as Panthalassa. So can you imagine, sir? Our Earth's surface was like this, with one single continent, with one water body as like a egg, as a white yolk and a yellow yolk. Can someone remind me now what is the name of the protein in white yolk and egg yolk? I have told, sir. Did we discuss in class? So I told there is a pattern of evolution. There is a connection between all of the happenings what we are facing now. It is not a thing which emerged instantly. There is a sequence of evolution. So our Earth was like an egg previously, with one continent inside and with the water body. The protein present in the white yellow yolk is called as what, sir? In the center part. These are questions, sir. In white, it is called as albumin. In white yolk, it is called as albumin. And in yellow yolk, it is called as globulin protein, sir. Globulin. So this was the condition at the initial stage. How many continents we have now, sir? Now we have 7 continents, and we have more of water bodies in the form of ocean and seas, bay, creek, right, sir? This physical transformation is evolving. Okay, so previously there was salt water. Now we have more of fresh water. There are some sources of fresh water in the form of glaciers, streams, rivers, rivulets. Many things are happened. These transformation from this huge water body to some freshwater body, then only we can survive. Then only animals can survive. Then only producer, that is a plant, can survive with fresh water. There are some exceptions of mangroves or other littoral species. That is a minuscule case. But for the very existence of the components of the nature, these modification has to take place, sir. So at the initial stage, the atmosphere, what is the composition of atmosphere, sir? We know that it is 78% of nitrogen. So at the initial, this is the condition what I'm speaking now. We have 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, right, sir? These two itself constitutes around 99%, right? And the remaining 1% within this very important fellow, the hero is carbon dioxide, 0.03%. I told that this percentage very, very, very important. Right, sir? And rest of the gases are trace gases. So I'm asking question, when there was an atmosphere over the Earth's surface, whether this composition of gases was present at the initial stage. Do you accept this statement, sir? I'm telling this percentage of the gases, what I have figured here, what I have marked here, this was the same condition when at the initial stage of the Earth formation. Do you accept this statement? No, no, Pankaj, no Taba, right? At the initial stage, The gases was dominated by different other gases. The composition was not the same. Okay, it was dominated by hydrogen. It was dominated by methane. Can we bear methane, sir? We can't even bear some modified form of nitrogen. Okay, even though nitrogen is present in the atmosphere 78%, but the modified form of nitrogen we can't bear itself. From automobiles, when these nitrogen are excited in the form of nitrogen oxides. Okay, when we are inhaling that, we are getting asphyxiation. Okay, we are getting some mental sickness. When we are subjected to in the mid of the heavier traffic, if you are inhaling all of these automobile wastages, you will getting some choking effect and we will die. So the atmosphere was dominated by these kind of toxic, the so-called toxic elements, toxic gases. Okay, inconvenient gases, non-supportive gases like methane, hydrogen, nitrogen. So there was no oxygen at all, no O2 was present. Then how come Earth's organisms can thrive here? So even some organisms, this condition is called as monera. Under this condition, when the Earth was not with conducive components, the components was not conducive, it was not comfortable. Okay, it was with the extremity. Sir, what are I telling, uttering the words? These words are keywords, sir. The Earth atmosphere or Earth was with extreme features, extreme conditions, that it may be gases or all other components. So methane was dominating. If methane is dominating or hydrogen is dominating, now tell me the type of respiration which was involved by the organisms. Say it is a microorganism is present there. What type of respiration might have taken place at the monera? Anaerobic. This is the inference. Nice, Taba. This is the inference. Anaerobic reaction, anaerobic respiration. So all of these monera at the initial stage, it might have undergone anaerobic. Can we live in this particular time period, sir? We can't live, sir, because we need oxygen. So not only for my survival, sir, the plant to produce its own food, it needs what, sir? It derives carbon dioxide, but they have to supply oxygen. So now we have larger trees for the atmospheric increase of or the atmospheric release of oxygen, but there was no trees at this condition. At this condition, when the Earth was without oxygen, this fellow, the hero, blue-green algae superhero, they started doing photosynthesis. Okay, can I tell these blue-green algae are nothing but the miniature form of this tree? They are the mother of these trees, whatever huge tree may be, let it may be anything, any kind of vegetation. All these started from this blue-green algae, right, sir? They kick-started. They did the photosynthesis, what our major evolved plants are doing now. They did photosynthesis. When photosynthesis is made, they started utilizing this carbon dioxide and reduce the carbon dioxide level, and they started releasing oxygen. Carbon dioxide was split and oxygen was released into the atmosphere. This is very, very, very important role. Then I have to thank this algae for my survival. It doesn't value this, we have no time. At least for exam sake, you have to make some inferences like this. Understand, sir? That is the reason that blue-green algae as an exception algae to be get figured in this monera. Is it is clear, sir? Do you have any doubts? What about sweetie? John, sir, are you there, John? Mr. John, say hi, John. John, as usual, went outing. Sweetie, John, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Vinita.
Yes, sir.
John is not there, sir. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Sir, at least say yes or no, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you won't respond, we will not proceed, sir. Yes, yes, yes. What about John? He's not there. Busy with politics. Sir, John may facing network issues, sir. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, shall then Protista, they are unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Here it is eukaryote. Now the cell which was prokaryote previously, now they have modified as eukaryote, right, sir? So see, prokaryote, only some small components, minimum number of components are present here. The nucleus even, it is not covered. They are not, the nucleus is the brain of the cell, but it is not protected. Whereas here, around the nucleus, you can find nuclear membrane. You can find various components. Mitochondria is present, endoplasmic reticulum is present, right, sir? Ribosomes are present here. So I am good. How are you, sir? Yes, John, I am fine, John. Nice to hear, John. Okay. So if it is offline classes, we will be triggered by your questions, John. But the bad thing, I'm missing those questions, Mr. John. Okay. Those questions which can't be answered by anyone other than God, asked by John, right? So come to the point, these prokaryotes, now there is a transformation from what, sir? From unicellular prokaryotic organism to eukaryotic organism. Still they are unicellular only. Amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and all kind of algae gets figured here. Sir, network is not good over here. Your voices are received by me a bit late. Sorry for the inconvenience. Okay, sir. It is nothing about our issue, sir. Okay, our part. Next one is fungi. To avoid the confusion, Whittaker has included fungi as a separate category. So here they have a covering made up of chitin. Chitin or chitin? Okay, sir. This is an objective question. Fungi cell wall is made up of what? Fungal cell wall is made up of chitin. Whereas the plant cell wall is made up of what, sir? Can anyone tell? It is a silly question. Yeah, chitin, Snega. Thank you, chitin. So I'm asking what is the plant cell wall is made up of? So a protective covering is needed over the cell wall. In plant cell, it is made up of cellulose, right, sir? Make it in a comparison. It is made up of cellulose in plant cell, whereas in case of fungi, this covering is made up of chitin. They are non-green because they are not photosynthetic. Okay, they are heterotrophs. They depend upon other organism for its food. So say yeast, rhizophus, mushrooms, molds, all this comes under fungi. Right, sir? Plantae, trees, plants, shrubs, animals, they are multicellular, eukaryotic, all of the organisms comes under this category. So here what we have discussed, these are the question part for prelims as well as mains. Okay, sir. For UPSP aspect. Now people are very much clear about what are organisms and what its feature is. And while discussing about fungi, we have discussed lot many things about fungal. We have discussed about individual species, individual characters about algae even, right, sir? Did we, sir? Did we in our classes? Have we done a detailed study about fungi? I told something about the toxin produced by fungi. What is the name of the toxin, sir? Yes, fungus, yes. What is the general toxin produced by fungi, sir? Sir, everything got washed off, right? Sir, if I'm revising science part, yes, sir, aspergillus, very good, right. Mycotoxins, very good, beautiful. The study of fungi is called as mycology. Obviously, if I don't know, I can tell simply it is mycotoxin. But in our classes, we have discussed something about aflatoxins. Did we, sir? We discussed about aflatoxins. Aspergillus niger and Aspergillus flavus, aflatoxins. And the individual plant body of fungi is called as what, sir? If you remember, I will be very much happy. The individual filament of fungi is called as das. Sir, these questions will figure in all of the competitive exams, most of the competitive exams. The individual filament, very good, Sneha. The individual filament of fungi is called as hyphae. Okay, when they coil each other, they form, sir, mycelial mat, right, sir? Thank you, thank you. The individual filament of fungi is called as hyphae. When many number of hyphae, so say I'm having a fungi, there will be some root-like structures. These filaments of the fungi, it is called as the individual filament, which I can separate, that is called as hyphae. When this group of hyphae joins together, they are interwoven as like a choir mat, welcome mat. Okay, they are interwoven. They are spun in that manner, highly coiled. This is called as mycelial mat. So these are the questions, sir. Repeated questions, sir. Many number of hyphae joins together to form of what? Mycelium. Mycelial mat. So individual one is called as hyphae and combined one is called as mycelium. These understanding we have to know. This is not a simple thing. This is the very survival of the fungi. Forming this mycelial mat means it can get joined, it can get attached to anything, it can hold fast. It can attach strongly to anything if there is a mycelial mat. That's why the survival rate of fungi is higher. So fungi, it is present even in our head in the form of dandruff, right, sir? You apply any shampoo, you can rub with your towel with a strong strength or anything. Still, the dandruffs are attached to the scalp of our head. That is because of the mycelial mat formation of the fungi. The mycelial mat will strongly get attached to our scalp, root scalp. There they will hold. That's why there is recurrent occurrence of dandruff. I'm telling a live example. That's all. Recurrent occurrence of fungi, that is dandruff, will occur. Why, sir? It is getting washed off. It is getting removed off. Dandruff is removed off whenever there is a conducive environment. Whenever a comfortable environment is made available for the fungus, it will re-emerge. Then what is the conducive environment for a fungal growth? This is a question again. Can anyone, sir? Vinita. Humid condition, right, sir? Whenever there is I am not drying my hair properly, a humid condition will emerge there. Moist, humid condition. Presence of moisture, right? These are the conditions. That's why there is recurrence. That's why we have to dry it properly. Understand, sir? So these things we have discussed. Then coming to algae, we discussed about what is the study of algae is called as the study of fungi is called as mycology. That's why mycotoxin. Mycology is study of fungi. What is study of algae is called as? Sir, I thought of quick revision. Thank you. It is phycology. Phycology. Okay. So phyco, if you find the word phyco anywhere, it is in relevance with algae. Phycology. Okay. In this thing, we have discussed something about based on the color of the algae. Based on the pigment present, we can classify the algae again into various categories, right, sir? So we have discussed about chlorophyceae, right, sir? Chlorophyceae means green algae. Erythrophyceae means red algae. Okay. And what is xanthophyceae, sir? Xantho. If a word is there, xantho, what will be the color of the algae? Yellow, fine. Thank you, Sneha. Xanthophyceae, right? And I told repeatedly they are asking something about the brown algae only. Okay, it is nothing but Meiosis. So the pigment determines what is the type of the algae. So we have enlisted that chlorophyceae, that is green, erythrophyceae, that is red, xanthophyceae, it is yellow, and one more thing, Meiosis is there. Meiosis. This is nothing but brown algae. Right, sir? So these are the stuffs we have discussed. Beyond this, about the survival, how these fellows, single cell organism, the blue-green algae, they dominated the world. They are our god because they produced oxygen. They supported, they made the environment, they designed the environment in a manner of supporting various vegetation and animals. Supporting vegetation only. They supported vegetation, that because of vegetation, animals can live upon. Right, sir? So they need some survival mechanism. So we have locomotion wherever I feel like I can roam. But these fellow algae, they have limited locomotion. That's why they have pseudopodia. That is false legs, right, sir? They have pseudopodia in the form of flagella. Did we discuss type of flagella? Okay, that is the locomotory organ present in the right, sir, algae, flagella. If it is in the cell of the algae, if a single flagella is present, it is called as monotrichous. Did we, sir, do you remember what are the types of flagella association? Monotrichous, right, sir? Simply I will make a faster glimpse about this. Mono means single, bitrichous, that is double. In the body of the algae, if two flagella is present, it is bi, and two more condition is there. Throughout the body, if flagella is present, this is called as what, sir? Polytrichous. Throughout the body, if it is present, it is called as polytrichous. Again, many flagella is present. If it is present confined to one particular area, then it is called as what, sir? This is a question. Very super. Who answered locotrichous, sir? Very nice, sir. Thank you so much. Locotrichous flagella. So in mains even you are getting questions like this. Flagella association with algae. Locotrichous. Now answer me understanding question. What is trichous? I told, do remember, do study with etymology. What is trichous, sir? If you answer this, it tells that your depth of preparation. Studying in a value-based manner. What is trichous, sir? You answered me locotrichous. It's fine. I'm happy to hear that. You all you guys are aware about what are the types of flagella association with an algae. That is happy, but that is not hair fungus, right? Very good, sir. So much a beautiful. It is hair. Trichology. Okay, trichology. BCAT Trichology Center. Trichous means hair. Flagella are hair-like substances. That's why the name. I told there is a reason for most of naming. Trichous is hair-like structure. Trichology means study of hairs. Right, sir? Thank you so much. Algae. So this classification was made. After that, again, if I want to classify all of these organisms, sir. So I don't know what is the type of organism. I'm a layman, but by external feature, I can tell they may be plant or animal kingdom. So domain is the topmost classification. They are what, sir? They occupies the topmost ladder. I even told acronym for this, Deputy Commissioner of General Studies. Did we, sir? I told many of the times this question is being figured in prelims as well as the mains. Classification, what's a Deputy Commissioner of General Studies? Did we, sir? Did we discuss this stuff in class? Yes, sir. Deputy Commissioner. So the kingdom is the topmost thing over the domain, and in that Archaebacteria will come over this kingdom or below this kingdom, sir. Archaebacteria will come over this kingdom or below this kingdom. Whether Archaebacteria gets figured in domain or else in phylum. There is no need that we have to go very deeper study. By simple logic, you can answer this. Archaebacteria, they get enlisted above or below the kingdom, sir. Above. Fine, sir. That understanding is enough, Taba. Okay, because they are the pioneer. They survived when the earth was not having conducive components. They survived in methane even, right? So kingdom, after kingdom, it is D. Phylum is otherwise called as division. This question was once asked. Okay. Division is nothing but phylum. And next one is class, order, family, genus, and species. I don't know what is the species of the particular organism, but I can tell whether it is a plant or animal. At least I can fill this kingdom part. Right, sir? So again, these are the minute details about the organisms. So I'm belonging to India, sir. So I can tell that I'm an Indian. Being an Indian, I can coming from Indian kingdom. I can tell like this. But after kingdom, I belong to a particular state. In that particular state, I belong to a particular district. In that particular district, I belong to a particular taluk. In that particular taluk, I belong to a particular panchayat. I come to a village. In that village, I come to a particular street. Right, sir? So even though I'm an Indian, I have my identity is associated with my village. Understand, sir? So I know who are all living adjacent with me in my village. Okay, sir. If I go from my village to my nearby town, I don't know faces. I can't tell the details about the particular fellow who are living in my adjacent villages, say some town. But daily I will go to the town to buy something. But there is not a condition that I have to know the details about the particular fellow. But in my village, I know very even minute details about all of the fellows present in my, most of the fellows present in my village. Right, sir? Because similarity is there. They all are my relatives in the village, right, sir? So similarity is higher where, sir? Similarity is higher at the lower stratum of the classification level. Similarity is higher. So if I'm moving from my village to next to my taluk, I can know that they are human beings as like me, but I don't know about even their name. Okay, what is their activity? Likewise, if I'm moving in the ladder, okay, there will be more of differences. The differences increases. The uniformity increases if I'm moving from, excuse me, the uniformity increases if I'm moving from, these are the inference-based questions. Similarities are uniformity. It will increase when I'm moving from kingdom to species. The differences increases if I'm moving from lower ladder to higher ladder. That's why I have to classify them separately. Even though they are humans, even though they are animals, even though they are plants, the differences between these particular unrelated or related species, it's keeping on more getting extended if I'm moving from one ladder to other ladder. So the differences is higher. Any doubts in this stuff, sir? Do you have any doubts in this stuff? Shall we proceed? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Don't worry, sir. After 10 minutes, we will have a break. So these are the classification, and we have discussed about the cell theory. Okay. So I told we are made up of 15 trillions of cells. But if I read one single, if I know details about a single cell, that is a detail about the entire cell. That is common for all of the organisms, most of the organisms, right, sir? So all there is not a condition that I have to read all of the 15 trillion cells individually, because I started my life, we started life with a single cell. Okay, after the fusion of the egg cell and the sperm cell inside with the particular cell, with how many number of chromosomes, sir? After fertilization has occurred, what is the number of chromosomes in a fertilized egg? Very good. Number 46 chromosomes. That is diploid condition. Here comes cell division. We have seen what is the fundamental of cell division, right, sir? Excuse me. Did I have that? Okay. See here, mitosis and meiosis cell division. So mitosis, one cell, a single cell, they will get splitted upon. After splitting, they will get two cells. We will derive two cells. So say if I have 46 chromosomes here, consider this as a fertilized egg cell. When the sperm has entered here, okay, if the sperm cell, what will be the chromosome present in the sperm cell, sir? Whether it will be X chromosomes or Y chromosome in the sperm cell? Someone, sir, faster, sir. I'm asking in the sperm cell, what is the type of chromosome present in this sperm cell? Millions of sperm will be released from a single ejaculation, right, sir? But in that release, all the sperms will be heading towards the egg cell to hit upon it. Okay, right. Thank you. It is haploid, right? I'm not asking about the haploid. Yeah, out of haploid condition, so many millions of sperm cells are up to march and hit this or reach this egg cell, right, sir? While this is marching, the head is having a chromosome. It may be either X chromosome and something will be carrying Y chromosome. Half of the sperm cell will be having X chromosome and half of the sperm cell will be having Y chromosomes, right, sir? Am I right or wrong? But always the egg which is waiting in the fallopian tube of the woman, a matured egg. We even discuss lot many things about this stuff, sir. How do you call the matured egg as, sir? Can someone tell me, sir? We have this detailed these stuffs in class. How do you call the matured egg? Zygote. Zygote is a combination, right? So each and every time from the ovary, one matured, I told the beauty of the girl child, when the girl child is formed, all of the egg at a minuscule level, okay, all of the egg which is required for the girl when she is becoming a woman after puberty until her death, until her reproductive time period, how many number of eggs which is needed, everything is packed inside the newborn baby, girl baby. The egg will be packed inside. But for a male, that is not a case. I'm speaking about the female. Whereas for a male, only after puberty only sperms will be produced. Semen will be produced. But for a woman, but for a girl, when a girl child is born, her ovary will be packed with all of the eggs which is required throughout her life cycle. Sir, can you understand what I'm speaking, sir? These are questions, sir. Yeah, right. And these small egg primordia, it is called as egg primordia. Primordia means something which is very, very small, something at the beginner stage. Primordia. Primordia egg cell. Okay, it will be obviously, it will be in smaller size. Egg primordia. It is packed tightly here, right, sir? But this smaller egg, if you see a small fish, sir, if you catch some fish, fortunately, unfortunately, you will catch some ovulating fish. You can see the eggs present in the abdominal cavity, right, sir? Okay, so this ovary will be having egg primordia, a smaller eggs, each and every month after puberty. This egg will be released from where, sir? This ovary. Okay, some fellow in the fallopian tube, they will catch the suspended finger-like structure in the fallopian tube. They will catch the released egg, right, sir? This released egg will be of matured egg. Among all of this egg primordia, many number of egg cells, one cell every month, it will get matured. Where it is getting matured, the part will become bulge, right, sir? Say here, if there is a bulge, it is an indication in the ovary that here, this time egg is going to be released in this position, right? The matured egg. I'm asking, what is the name of the matured egg which is being released? Ovum, right? It is ovum. Technically, it is nothing but Graafian follicle stage, right, sir? At the graphene, did we say? I don't blame you guys because it is a long time period we discussed these stuffs. Graphene follicle. Now you can remember the ovum. Did we say? I told 3 layer of covering will be present over the matured egg cell. I think if you see this figure, you can remember, right, sir? So this stage will be present inside the ovary. Now here the matured egg is present. Oh, this fellow, this entire stage is called as graphene follicle, the matured egg cell. Now only the egg has to get released from the ovary, leaving this area. Now what do you call this, sir? The left out part of the matured egg. I told it is required for the release, continuous release of progesterone. If you answer this, you are into the concept, sir. So I'm asking, what is the left out part which is required, which is left out inside the ovary itself? Only the egg will come outside. I'm asking callus, sir. No, callus means the mass of undifferentiated cell. Did I told anything about corpus luteum, sir? I even made a connection about habeas corpus. Yes, Taba. Okay. Yes, Pankaj. Corpus luteum. This left out. What is corpus then? It is nothing but dead body. So I'm having a skin here in the top. Our internal organs are being protected by our skin, right? Can I tell this skin is dead now? I can feel the sense. If I'm pinching, pricking, I can feel the sense. This skin is having some liveliness because it is attached with my cell. It is even a modification of my cell. Okay, sir. This fellow, when this graphene follicle stage, even the outer covering is like our skin. It is living condition only. When the egg is released outside, it becomes dead. When I'm peeling my skin, it is not part of my body. Now it's dead cell, right, sir? In the same manner, the internal organ came outside, leaving the external structure. Now it has become as corpus luteum. Corpus means dead body. That's why you have one kind of writ that is called as habeas corpus in polity. You might have read habeas corpus, bring the body. That is habeas corpus writ. Right, sir? But even though this corpus luteum is dead and present inside the ovary, that is required to release progesterone. Did we discuss, sir? Okay. So now tell me, sir, what will be the chromosome type, whether it will be X or Y in female? So all time, each and every month, one matured ovum is coming outside, carrying what type of chromosome? Always it will be X, right, sir? Because XX makes female and XY makes male. These are some basic things. Thank you, Benita. XY makes male and always female is XX. So at any point of time, the egg released from the ovary will be carrying X chromosome only, single X chromosome, a haploid chromosome. Whereas in case of sperm cell, come to the figure left side. In case of sperm cells, some sperms will be having X chromosome and half of the sperms will be having Y chromosome. This is going to determine the sex of the baby. When it is getting inside, say at the instant, many things will be surrounding, many sperms will be surrounding the egg cell, but only one fellow is going to enter inside. If it is a Y fellow, if the sperm cell is carrying Y chromosome, already it is X and X and Y joins, it becomes a male child. If X chromosomes enters here, X is present here, one X will be joining and a female child is formed, right, sir? So gender is determined by the sperm cell of the male which is going to enter. No role to be played or to be blamed upon the woman about the sex of the baby. It is determined by the male. Right, sir? Okay, so reproductive cells are haploid. Whereas body cell, this is my body cell. I received X chromosome from my father and Y chromosome from my, X chromosome from my mother and Y chromosome from my father. Okay, that's why my sex has been determined when it was a single cell waiting at my fallopian tube of my mother. Right, sir? So this is me, sir. This is we, sir. We all were single cell. Now we are 15 trillion cells. Okay, for a short time period, it will be present here. Afterwards, it will reaches any part of the uterus and it will get attached to that area, abdominal wall of the uterus, and start growing as a baby. Right, sir? The single cell, even it will divide inside. At the same time, when it is reaching the uterus, it will gain number. It will increases by number. More number of cells is going to proceed. It's going to be formed. So cell duplication is needed. As Xerox copies. So my chromosome was determined as 46, half from my mother. That is my half of my chromosome, X chromosome, right, sir? 23 haploid. My mom's X cell and my father's sperm cell, 23 fused together to form 46, right? So this 46 numbered cell has to be duplicated if I want to grow. After implantation, if the baby has to grow, many number of multiple copies has to be produced like this. This multiplication is nothing but mitosis. Cell multiplication, growth division, right, sir? So one cell will be divided into two. So I'm having a mark sheet of mine. So say in 10th standard out of 500, it is 450. How many number of Xerox copies I am making? How many number of duplicate copies I am making? It doesn't matter. Always I will get 450 marks only. It is not going to increase or decrease. In the same manner, the single cell which is present in the fallopian tube, after getting implanted, it is going to produce multiple copies with the same feature present in the cell. That's why all of my body cells are having the same feature. Can it tell this mitosis as growth division, sir? So this is the inference we have to derive. Mitosis is nothing but growth division. The character is nothing but duplication. It duplicates. A single cell will duplicate, producing the ditto copy, the same copy of the cell. Okay, without any alteration. So here I will get some two daughter cells. One cell divides into two. Whereas meiosis, it will take at reproductive cases. One cell undergo two cell division, sir. This is the question here. Point to be noted. Two cell division will take place here and resulting in four daughter cells. Two cell division. Here only one cell division resulting in two cells. Here two cell division resulting in how many number of cells, sir? Four cells. These are some straight questions. How many daughter cells are produced out of meiosis? Four daughter cells are produced. How many cell division it will undergo? Two cell division it will undergo. The cell will divide further twice. Okay, and again, half of the chromosome number is produced. So initially, when I didn't attain puberty, okay, that is the fertility age, all of my cells will be having how many number of chromosomes, sir? So this is understanding, make it faster. Before the fertility time period, my body cells will be filled of autosomes, that is body cells. Each and every cells will be having 46 chromosomes. So after puberty, when sperm is produced, then only it will undergo this meiosis and it will ends up producing what's the haploid number of chromosomes. Understand, sir? So meiosis is nothing but reproductive division. Any doubts do you have, sir? Shall we take some 15 minutes break? Sir, kindly stop me then and there through chat box. Okay. Or acknowledge something so that we will make it something valuable. If you have any queries, if you need some alteration, even intimate me. If you are familiar about the concept, kindly make it clear that, sir, make it faster. We can make it faster. Okay, sir. Before having understanding of this, if you get into the subject directly, it works for nothing, sir. Thank you. Take a break for 15 minutes, sir. We will be back by 11:45. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, shall we start? Are you there, sir? Guys, am I audible? Shall we start? Shall we proceed? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shall we continue in the same phase or we make it a bit faster, sir? Pankaj, whether this phase is okay or we can proceed in a faster pace. Okay, fine. Okay. So where we stop about mitosis and meiosis, exam point of view, mitosis is growth division. It undergoes a single division and two cells are formed with same chromosome numbers, whereas haploid chromosomes is produced in meiosis, it is reproductive division. These steps we have discussed. And what are the other things? So here comes something about cell theory. It was given by Schleiden and Schumann, right? So the fundamental thing is actually Schleiden worked separately and Schumann worked separately. Their outputs are combined together as cell theory. The first two components are from Schleiden and Schumann. Actually speaking, Schleiden worked upon plant cell. L comes here, and Schumann, and comes here, animal. So Schumann scientist worked more upon animals. His contribution was about animals. So the fundamental living things, all of the living things are made up of cells. They are the basic component. That is the first point. Second one is it is the structural and functional unit of all of the living organism. Let it may be a plant species or else animal species. It gives a structure. It gives a framework to our body. That is the structure. If I take kidney, it has a structure. If I take my eyes, it has a structure. The structure is given by the cells. It is nothing but combination of cells. And each and every cell has a specific function to play. A cell, when group of cells, they will proceed to march as a tissue. They combine together to form of a tissue. And these tissues, they will get specialized. When these tissue gets specialized, they will develop as a separate organs. And obviously, finally, it results in forming a organism, right? They develop as an organ and finally as organisms, the individual species. Right, Schleiden and Schumann. And finally, one more salient feature was added in later period in cell theory. This was given by Virchow, the scientist called as Virchow. That is, cells comes from pre-existing cells. If a cell has to form, it has to develop from a pre-existing cell only. Cells comes from other cell, that is the pre-existing cell. So in mitosis, there was one cell. Later, two cells emerges from the pre-existing cell only. This point was substantiated by Virchow, the last component of cell theory, right? This is about the cell structure, and we have seen inside the cell we have nucleus, that is the brain of the cell, that is a think tank. We derive brain because of the cell is having a nucleus. We has various organs and various components. These components are derived because these components are already present in a minuscule form in the cell. They will give intimation what type of organism to form and how a cell has to behave when it is in combination, right? So the entirety of the cell, it is filled with maximum of fluids. The study of cell is called as what, sir? How do you call the study of cell as? Cytology, right? The study of cell is called as cytology. So liquid content is called as plasma. So the entirety of the cell, it is filled with a common liquid that is called as cytoplasm. Whatever liquid present inside the cell in common, it is called as cytoplasm. Whatever organ present in the cell, it will be suspended in the liquid that is called as cytoplasm. The cell liquid is called as cytoplasm. Whereas the same liquid is not sufficient to perform the actions of the brain cell. Okay, so nucleus, that is a think tank, that is the brain of the cell. The liquid present here, the same composition, chemical composition of the cytoplasm, that is not sufficient for the exorbitant performance of the nucleus. So it needs some other fluid. This liquid is called as nucleoplasm. The liquid present inside the nucleus, it is called as nucleoplasm. The same thing we can interrelate. For human being, we have filled with the body fluids, but coming to brain, it is a different fluid that is called as cerebrospinal fluid. Our brain, which is having connection with the spine, from there where message is being passed to all of our body, it is present from brain. Connection to the spine, there is a separate fluid. As like the nucleus, it is cerebrospinal fluid. Through this fluid only, the message is being transferred to all of our body. I can lift my hand because there is a transfer of, there is an exchange of messages which is taking place through our neurons, right, sir? And mitochondria, this is called as the powerhouse of the cell. In this point, there is a question. The inner foldings of the mitochondria is called as cristae. You can find the foldings, inner foldings in the mitochondria. It is called as cristae, whereas the fluid present inside the matrix, it is inside the mitochondria, it is called as matrix. It is again a different liquid. And this fellow, it is called as the powerhouse of the cell, that is mitochondria, since it produces ATP, adenosine triphosphate. When we were attempting prelims, this kind of abbreviation even were asked. Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so they produces ATP, powerhouse of the cell. And one more extraordinary feature of the cell is this fellow mitochondria, it has extra chromosomal DNA. So normally DNA is present inside the nucleus, right, sir? Inside the chromosome. So that thing we have seen here, we can see here. Okay, inside the nucleus, there is highly coiled structure that is called as chromatin. Okay, this chromatin, when it is being extended, we can see what's a chromosome. In chromosome, this is a chromosome, right, sir? In chromosome, if I'm further extending it, you can find what's the DNA. In DNA, there is genes. Okay, this is the order. It is highly compacted inside the nucleus. That's why if all of the chromosome is joined of a human body, it will make a journey up to moon and it can return back to Earth cell. Then imagine how compactly it is being coiled in a cell. Okay, coming to the stuffs, DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA is present, whereas DNA, this double helical structure was given by Watson and Crick. Okay, in DNA, the backbone, this is the backbone, this is the strand. This strand is that they are anti-parallel in nature. If one strand is running in this direction, if one strand is running in this direction, say this strand will move in this direction, right? They will move in this direction. They are opposite to each other. They are anti-parallel. So the end of one strand starts from 5 prime, and if this is starting from 5 prime, obviously it has to end with 3 prime. So I told it is anti-parallel. So this strand should have to begin with 3 prime, and it has to end with 5 prime end. 5 prime. And this strand, it is like a ladder, right? This ladder, this backbone, it is filled with ribose sugar and phosphorus molecules. These are some straight questions. Phosphorus molecules and ribose sugar, they make the backbone of this DNA strand. This strand is there to hold something. These holded materials are nothing but the nitrogenous bases. They are generally classified as purines and pyrimidines. These are the nitrogenous bases. That's why we need nitrogen, because our cell needs nitrogen for the very survival. Okay, for the very functioning. At the minuscule level, we are nothing but DNA strands are nothing but it holds nitrogenous bases, purines and pyrimidines. I told purines, and always a purine will pair with the pyrimidine. So again, which are purine and which are pyrimidines? Wherever Y comes, see in thymine, Y comes, see in cytosine, Y comes. These are nothing but pyrimidines. Okay, a pyrimidine will always pair with a purine. if there is a thymine, obviously a purine will be there. Say example adenine. A will pairs with T, forming a double bond. Okay. Whereas C will pair with a G, forming a triple bond. CG. Triple bond is there. Hydrogen bonds are there. And in case of RNA, instead of thymine, we have what, sir? The thymine is replaced by what in case of RNA? So can someone text it? The thymine is replaced by what in case of RNA? Instead of thymine, we'll have what, sir? So can you make it faster? Uracil, thank you. So instead of thymine, we have uracil in case of RNA. These are some of the basic things. And for prelims sake, we have to still more be clear about this DNA, double helical structure. Okay. So see here, the width of the DNA, it will be 2 nanometer. Have it in mind, sir. If it is in nanometer, it is 2 nanometer, the width of the DNA, or else 20 Armstrong. Okay. It will take a major turn and a minor turn. It is coiled structure. Since it is coiled, the coiling will be taking place in a major scale or else in a minor turn. So the major scale, the major turn has 10 segments. So obviously the length of this major turn is 3.4 nanometer. So I told there will be 10 strands in this major twist. Okay. See here. In each turn of the helix, there are 10 layers. So divided by 10 gives a single turn. That is, divide this by 10, it is 0.34 nanometer. Length between two strands is 0.34 nanometers because divided by 10. These are some of the questions, sir. Major groove and a minor groove. The major groove is nothing but this is the major groove and this is the minor groove. The minor groove length is 0.34 nanometer. These are some of the questions, sir. Any doubts do you have, sir? And one more thing, they are highly coiled structures. See here in this area, they are highly coiled. This is called as bead and string theory. Okay, the DNA structure, the chromosome is highly coiled. The length of the chromosome is highly coiled over this bead as like a bead and string, right? If this bead is not present, we can't accommodate this length of these chromosomes inside our cell. So what is the name of the protein, sir, which is binding this particular strand? This is a repeated question in competitive exam. The DNA molecule is highly coiled in structure because of a protein that is called as what, sir? What is the name of the protein? We have even discussed in class. Anyone, sir? What is the name of the protein which is binding, which is wounding, which is wrapping the DNA segment in a condensed form inside the nucleus? So no one could answer this question. What is the name of protein? Taba. It is called as histone protein. Am I right, sir? It is called as histone protein. It is very, very important. These ball-like structure you can see in this diagram, these are nothing but histone proteins. Okay. This is all about the introduction part, sir. Can we switch on to the next one? Any doubts do you have in introduction? Shall we proceed? Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Okay. 1 minute. I'll go for new share. Sir, do the slides are visible now? Can you see the slides, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Now it's visible. Okay, thank you, thank you. So now only we are getting into real environmental science. These are some of the basic things without which we can't proceed or understand about environmental science. So here I have made it as envisioning environmental science. Okay, let me get into the topic in envisioning environmental science. Okay, we have to vision. Already we know all these stuff, sir. It is present there. We are living here. So what is environmental science? So it is a new domain of study. It encompasses all of these features, sir. We can't skip any subject. A mathematics role is present here. Geography is part of this environmental science. All domain is part and parcel of environmental science because surrounding me, I have to read the entire thing. How a rock is formed, how a soil is formed, why a plant is growing, why a plant is not responding, why a particular human being is behaving different manner in one particular place and different particular place. Okay, see, our mode of interaction might be still more better if we are in offline mode, right, sir? So my environment, our environment has changed. This has an influence upon me as well as you. Okay, the environment determines what is the function has to be performed. So various components are associated. So see, instead of this mouse, if I'm using graphical tab, it will be far better for writing purpose. So the components of environments have a major role to play to decide upon a particular action. Do you accept it, sir? So we can't skip anything now. Under the roof of the earth, okay, over the earth, under the earth, you have to read everything. When it is environmental science, it became part and parcel of this environmental science. So coming to the major components, it is biosphere or ecosphere. This sphere is the living area. For this living area to happen upon this ecosphere, ecological sphere. So we know what is ecology. It is a scientific study of interrelationship between organisms and the environment. I have to study the ecosystem. I have to study the environment in a logical fashion. What is the relationship? So if I'm drinking a cup of water, what is the action taking place in my body? It's not simply quenching my thirst. I'm not drinking a glass of water only to quench my thirst. If I drink water, it is supporting me with more of minerals. It is giving not only satisfying my thirst, by the same way it is giving some water. Okay, I admitted Sharmila Boro, a newcomer, sir. So you have to understand the value of some actions, sir. So drinking water, it gives minerals. Why this minerals is needed? That mineral will be a component of a particular, that is a prerequisite of the cell component for a particular hormone to be produced. Right, sir? So we can't omit anything in ecology and ecosystem. So this ecology is the entirety where I'm studying the interrelationship between organisms and the environment, whereas ecosystem, how these components are interacting. What are the components and what is the correspondence between the components? So see here, there are various components: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. These are the major components, and they are interrelated. They are interrelated one to one to form this biosphere. We have discussed about the atmosphere. Very recently, we discussed about atmosphere, how the gases get modified from the worst condition to the survival condition now. How the gases present in the atmosphere have got modified to oxygen percentage for the very survival of the organism. Lithosphere, this fellow, it is nothing but rocks. If a simple barren rock is present, it doesn't support life in Earth's surface. It has to be what's that? Converted to soil. This is aided by a process called as what? The formation of rocks to soil is supported by a process that is called as what, sir? That is disintegration and decomposition of rock. This process is named as what? Can someone say? The disintegration followed by decomposition. Weathering process, very good. It is called as weathering process. So it is a sequential phenomenon, sir. So life is after all a sequential process. If we know the sequence, the secret of the sequence, then we can clear the civil service. Whatever things you get, if you read, we will not end up with what, sir? Cracking civil services. So rock has to be disintegrated first. We will be having more of myth about this UPSC preparation. Some fellow, they will tell that I have to read, sir, I read some 14 hours a day. Still, it is not sufficient. I'm reading many stuffs. Okay, that's fellow's opinion. Okay, even if you read for 4 hours, if you are giving weightage for concept clarity, understanding, that is more than sufficient. So the first thing is, for soil formation, I have to start up with disintegration. The bigger particle has to be broken into smaller particles. Then only it will be easy to form what's a smaller soil particles. The same applies to life. If I have a major hurdle in my life, in a preparation, if I start a preparation in economics, then you have to start with the NCERT. There are 2 volumes of NCERT in for economics, microeconomics and macroeconomics. So that is the kind of disintegration you have to do. Okay, don't read Ella Barucha for environmental science at the very instance. You have to start up with the NCERT. Don't mind reading 6th standard book. That is very, very important. It gives a clear idea. You have to disintegrate. First, you have to overcome the myths. Then we have to make understanding, that is decomposition. There you can get knowledge derived from various supporting materials. These 2 processes only will make success, sir. Right? So weathering is formed. After weathering, soil is formed. Can I tell it as soil, sir? I have grounded some pieces of rocks as soil. Can I claim it as a soil now? I'm asking you a question. The bigger particle of rock is being grounded as a soil particle. No, sir. Why no, sir? Why no? Why should not I call it as a soil? For every question you have to ask, it's a sand. It needs nutrient. Very good, right? It needs nutrients. So here comes the concept clarity. So if I'm taking 100% of soil, around 50% will be solid particles, right, sir? 50% will be pore space. So these are some objective questions, sir. In 100% soil particles are present. Between the soil particles, there is air passage. There is some voids. This is the pore space. That makes 50% of the soil. And 45%, that is the solid composition of the soil. That is the solid particles. This is the individual soil particle which I can take. The separatable part of the soil, the individual granules, they are called as, they occupies 45% of the soil. Then what about the remaining 5%? These are the soil nutrients. They are nothing but the organic matter. That is why the physically grounded rock can't be called as soil, even though it has mineral constituent, because rocks is nothing but minerals. They are nothing but compaction of minerals. The solidified form of microminerals, various minerals, they make rocks. If I grind it into smaller, some powder, fine powder, I'll get minerals again. But it will not make a complete, because organic matter derived from the above vegetation or animal have to be get transformed. Can now see your application, right? So organic matter is needed. This completes the soil. This process of organic matter addition in soil is evolved by, so simple soil formation is weathering, whereas organic matter formation is aided by a process called as what, sir? This even we have discussed. The partially decomposed organic matter is called as what? Sir, I told the statement, sir. Humus, very good. Humus and addition, formation of more of humus that is aided by humification process. Organism, they will release humic acid and they will enhance the humus formation. That's why the topmost soil, wherever the vegetation fall, when the animal is dead, the litter material from the vegetation, the dead particles of animal, they will be converted to humus, and fine derived organic matter is present in the topmost soil. That's why the topmost soil is always fertile. It has a relevance. Topsoil is highly productive, highly fertile soil, because they will release after this humification process. After the, if you go to deep forest, sir, if you go to deep forest, or else if you see underneath a tree, a big tree, a land is empty, a land is empty without vegetation. If you take a handful of soil, you see the soil, I can separate the soil particles. I can see by my naked eyes the individual soil particles. But if you go to a deep forest or else some bigger vegetation, bigger tree, underneath to that tree canopy, if you take a handful of soil, what you can feel, sir? Can you feel the difference between the empty barren land soil and this vegetation growth soil or forest soil? You can find a nice difference. There is some clogging effect. There is some colloidal action present in this soil, that is humus. So the soil for individual fine particles, they are now attached strongly. Their binding agent is there. It will be somewhat pale brown in color. That is humus soil. That is organic soil. Okay, sir, there is a relevance. So whenever there is heavy rainfall, when induced by hydrosphere, whenever there is a heavy rainfall, the rain will erode the topmost soil, that is organic matter content, and now the soil is nutrient poor, nutrient hunger. I have to apply more of fertilizer. That's why the land is being bundled. In the border, you will raise some raised structure that is called bunds. These bunds will not allow the soils to get eroded from the land. Bund formation to control soil erosion, right, sir? So in this regard, we have discussed still further things, that what are the stages of erosion when there is rainfall. At the initial stage, it starts with what, sir? It starts with splash. So when the rainfall is hitting the soil, some soil particles will be removed from this particular area. Simply it is getting splash. Then it proceeds as sheet, splash, sheet, rill, gully, ravine. Right, sir? Splash, sheet, rill, gully, and finally as ravine. So I told one more example point of thing. So ravine is the extreme form of unproductive area because of severity of erosion. Whereas in rill stage, if I'm making some control mechanism, I can bring the condition original to the normal soil condition. Understand, sir? These steps we have discussed, sir. So all these components, they will interact continuously. Still now they are interacting for our survival, for our existence, for the well-being of all of the organisms. Okay, sir. The dead matter has to be decomposed by the microbes. If the dead matter is not decomposed by the microbes, there is a humus formation. If humus formation is not present in the earth surface, our earth will be full of dead bodies. Okay, the plant dead particles will be as like the dead particle. The animal dead particle will be as like a dead particle. That is the thing which is happening in a temperate zone. Okay, in an ice-bound area, there is no soil. If a snow bear is dead there, if some other animal is dead there, it will be seen as like it is sleeping. There is no decomposition. If soil is there, then only decomposition will be aided, and this will be again returned to earth as a nutrient-rich material in the form of humus. Understand, sir? So we can't, at any point of time, we can't neglect any component, even a microbe. A microbe, they triggered, they formed, they modified the environment. They are still modifying in the form of decomposition. They are adding, when these nutrients, this dead matter They are nothing but they are storing the nutrients inside their body. After it's dead, it is being used for its survival. After it's dead, this nutrient is brought back to the soil again. Now the soil is again enriched with the nutrients which was occupied in the animal or plant. It is being transformed to the soil. Now a tree is growing here. This tree will utilize the nutrients, the decomposed material, again the dead matter in the form of nutrient. It is converted as a plant product. Say a fruit, we are eating the fruit. We are reaping this process in the form of food, and we are utilizing. By this only biogeochemical cycle takes place. The nutrient recycling. I can't tell nutrient is always present in a fixed position, okay, in a particular organism. Once the lifespan is over, again we have to give even nutrients to the soil. We can take away the nutrients along with this after the death. This is biogeochemical cycle. Okay. And coming to level of organization, we have started, sir. It starts with the organism. The organism is at the minimum level in the ladder of level of organization. Organism means of same species. Okay, sir. Even though they are same species, the organism is an individual. We are human species. For 4 or 3 years, I'm sitting aside. I'm sitting separately. I'm not mingling with my family. I'm not mingling with my friends. Still, I can survive. I can breathe with the atmosphere. Morning, what I ate, with that I can survive now here. So I am an independent when I'm speaking as an organism. Okay. But when group of organism, they move, they make a population, human population, my village population. But the condition is they belong to the same species. That is the condition. Of the same species makes a population. Different species makes community. In this community, it can be again classified as major community and minor community. The major community, they are independent in nature. They are independent. The major community, they are not dependent. They are independent. Whereas the minor community, they are dependent. Always they are dependent on the major community. The same pattern prevails in a urban settlement even. So say IT sector, a IT hub is there in the Bangalore city. Okay, sir. Surrounding the IT sector, okay, some middle class members will be living, and some economically downtrodden classes will be living in the periphery. Depending upon this lower economic group, their dependence is based on the activity in the central part. Their income will be transferred to this lower income group. They will go as a maid. They will do all sort of menial works here. They go for road laying here. They will go for construction work here. So in the same manner, so I can compare this lower economic group as a minor community. They are always dependent on the major community. But major community, they are independent. At least for economic sake, they are independent. Okay, sir. So in the same manner, the various components in the environment, they makes a community, different species that encompasses community. Major community is independent and minor one is dependent. How do you call the minor community as, sir? How do you name the minor community as? What is the other name for minor community? Can someone? Sir, are you sleeping or am I making you to sleep, sir? I made a question. How do you call, what is the other name for minor community? This stuffs we have discussed through our offline classes. What is the other name for minor community? Someone has to type, sir. Or else say yes or no, sir. Society, fine, thank you. We proceed, Sneha. It is called as society. And these components, they interact to form ecosystem. Now a structured pattern is being evolved. So say when the land was barren, nothing was there. An individual organism occupied this area. So see here, I have only a water body. An individual organism, algae has emerged here. as the pioneer. Later on, to feed this algae, some small organisms, say some fish, smaller fish species, aquatic organisms will be present there. After that, some frogs emerge. These frogs, they can find food even in this water body, or else they will come to the terrestrial area to find some insects. Like this way, there is an interaction between all of the organisms. Three species is there. The litter material falls, they will decompose, the nutrients will be added upon into the water. Can I tell this as a natural eutrophication? Okay, when there is a rainfall, soil erosion will be taking place, nutrients will be added here. Natural eutrophication is taking place. Afterwards only I can find a forest here. Owing to the interaction of various organisms, say animal and plants here, I can finally have a forest ecosystem. Okay, at least by a visual sake, if I see, I can tell this is this kind of forest. Which species is dominating here? I'm going to name the ecosystem based on the species dominance. So see here grasses are dominating. So I can tell it is a grassland ecosystem. So species dominance determines the ecosystem to be named upon. They are asking question based on this statement. They will decide how to name the ecosystem. And always all ecosystems are not one and the same. So see in this example, even this is terrestrial ecosystem and this is aquatic ecosystem. And at one point of time, this aquatic ecosystem is mingling with the terrestrial ecosystem. These two are different ecosystems and they are mingling here. This point is called as ecotone, right, sir? When two different ecosystems meets, then it is called as ecotone. The tone of the ecosystem is different. They make now a unified tone. This is called as ecotone, and the larger area where all of the living organisms can thrive upon this called as biosphere. In any part of the earth, if I'm standing, I can claim it as I don't know what type of ecosystem where I'm living there, but I can tell by sure that if I'm thriving, I can tell that I'm there in the biosphere. But this biosphere, even it is absent in some condition of the ocean. Okay, in a water body, in the deepest of the ocean, the atmospheric gases can't penetrate. Sunlight can't penetrate here. So here, organisms will not be present. These are exceptions where biosphere is absent. In the same manner, if I'm going for the topmost area of the mountain, okay, sir, this also will become a barren land, say in Ladakh. Okay, so these are exceptions where biospheres are absent. And types of biomes. What is a biome, sir? What is a biome? Sir, I'm asking you guys a question, sir. What is a biome? Can anyone tell what is the determining feature of a biome, sir? Climate, very good. So climate is a determining factor. Okay. So say Earth, it is classified, it can be categorized as various zonation based on the availability of sunlight, right? So the sunlight availability, the intensity will be higher when it is facing the equator. Here the sunlight is higher. That's why this is tropical zone. That is the energy level of this area is very higher. So when the energy is higher, automatically it will support more of vegetation. When more of vegetation is there, we animals will go to eat that. So the biodiversity will be higher in this particular area because owing to the sunlight availability throughout the year. And again, sunlight has to travel a limited area compared to the polar zone, whereas sunlight has to take a longer distance to cover this polar area. When it is traveling a longer area, automatically the intensity of the light will be reduced. The energy level will be reduced. That's why we can't find more of biodiversity here in poles. So this is biomes. The climate is the determining factor of a biome. Based on this, we have various biomes. We have named various biomes: tundra, taiga or boreal forest, temperate deciduous forest, tropical rainforest. So see in this diagram kinds of biome. A rainforest, say tundra, this is always ice-bound area. This is in the poles. In the poles, it is ice-bound throughout the year. If it is ice-bound, if the area is ice-bound, there is no soil. If there is no soil, no weathering. No weathering means no vegetation. No vegetation means no humus. Very limited vegetation or else. So it's barren land or empty land. So I can count the number of organisms present. Let it may be a plant or animals. I can count. So are present here, right? We have seen in our classes, lichens are lichens and mosses. So what is the typicality about this lichen, sir? Can anyone, what is the lichens? What is the lichen? So what is the lichens? What is the lichens? Symbiotic relationship, right? It is a symbiotic relationship between algae and a fungi. Super, sir. It is a relationship between algae and fungi, and they are bioindicators. These lichens are bioindicators. They will be bioindicator of what, sir? Air purity. Where the air is pure, there only it can thrive upon. So here there is no human settlement. Okay, it is devoid of human settlement. So no any pollution. So always there will be purity of air percentage is higher in this area. That's why lichens can survive here. It is nothing but a combination of fungi and algae. It is an example of symbiotic relationship. The fungal partner is called as what's that? Mycobient. This is a question again. The fungal partner is called as mycobient and the algal partner is called as phycobient. Both has to be present in this. Both has to grow as a single organism to be named as a lichens. Right, sir? This is symbiotic relationship. Then weathering rate is very lower because intensity of sunlight is very less. So obviously weathering will be very negligible in this tundra. Next one is taiga boreal forest. In taiga boreal biome, okay, the climate is completely different compared to the here. Okay, here throughout the year there will be what's that? Snowfall. Throughout the year snowfall, and again compared to tundra, here the weathering will be somewhat higher. So if weathering is somewhat higher, there will be some conducive environment for vegetation to be supported. That's why I can find trees here. I can tell if I'm moving from tundra to this area, soil formation is higher or else weathering is higher in this way of movement, right, sir? So boreal forest, you can find a unified pattern of trees here, as like a cone, conical trees, right? So the trees are associated in a conical form to overcome the snowfall. So say if a broader tree is present, it will be having some broad branches, lateral branches. So whenever there is snowfall, this snow can rest upon over these branches and it will increase the volume, it will increase the weight of the branches and this branch will get detached. Now the survival of the trees will be a question mark. To overcome this only, there is a modification in this boreal forest as a cone-like shape. Whenever there is snowfall, always throughout the year there is snowfall. The snow will glide and it will reach the soil. It will not add upon volume to the trees. That is the reason that we have conical trees here, right, sir? And next one is temperate deciduous forest. Here the climate is very moderate. These are extreme climates, sir. Here it is a moderate climate. Rainfall is ample. Sufficient rainfall is there. Weathering rate is prolonged. So sufficient rainfall. Weathering is higher. So soil is very nice. That's why these zones are world agricultural productive zones are temperate deciduous forest. Excuse me. So temperate deciduous forest. So see here in temperate deciduous forest, there is color change of the vegetation. Here you can find green coloration, and somewhere here orange or yellow color is xanthophyll. Okay, various pigments is there. They will start shedding their leaves. That is deciduous. They have to shed their leaves. Here comes something called as abscission and senescence. Did we discuss that? What is abscission? Sir, make it faster, sir. What is abscission? So why this different coloration in a boreal forest or else taiga forest? You can't find this deciduous condition. Even in tropical rainforest, you can't find this deciduous condition. The tree will not shed their leaves. Only in temperate deciduous forest, they will shed their leaves. So when I'm hale and healthy, my skin will be somewhat what, sir? I can find more of blood in my body. So it indicates that I'm healthier. When I'm becoming weaker, my body will turn pale. In the same manner, when the tree is stronger, when it is healthy, it is producing more of chlorophyll pigment and the vegetation is greenish. Whereas when I can tell this particular coloration change, it has become weaker. It has lost its pigments. The chlorophyll is lost and it is getting converted to some other color. Post this screenshot. லைவ் போயிட்டு இருக்கறனால திரும்ப நான் நம்பர் சொல்றேன், ஃபோன் பண்ணுறியா? Eight one 057 06 475. Hello. Hello. Chris, sorry Chris, cut ஆயிடுச்சு திடீர்னு. ஹலோ. ஆமாங்க கிறிஸ், திடீர்னு கட் ஆயிடுச்சு கிறிஸ், ரீ என்டர் ஆகுறேன். சரி சரி கிறிஸ். ஓகே கிறிஸ், ஓகே கிறிஸ், ஓகே கிறிஸ். ஓகே, அப்ப நான் வெயிட் பண்ணட்டுங்களா? ஓகே ஓகே கிறிஸ், ஓகே கிறிஸ். ஆமாப்பா, ஷேர் ஸ்கிரீன் பண்ணி பார்க்கலாம். ஓகே, திரும்ப என்ட்ராது, அவர் சொன்னதான் பண்ண முடியும். மைண்ட் கூட பண்ணிடலாமா? சுவிட்சே ஆன் பண்ண வச்சுக்கோங்க. சதீஷ் நான் போடுறேன், என்னன்னு போட்டுருக்கேன். அது 100% இருந்துச்சு, எப்படி இவ்வளவு கன்சியூம் வச்சுக்கோங்க தெரியல. 100% இருந்துச்சு. ஆமா, யூடியூப் லைவ்ல லைவ். போட்டு கிளம்பிட்டாரு. பண்ணிட்டேன். Okay, அவ்வளவுதான். Guys, sorry for the inconvenience. Really sorry for the inconvenience. Am I audible now? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry. Some technical fault was there. Yes. We'll be back. So what we were discussing, sir? We were discussing about biomes, right? So here, weathering is nice and the climate is very conducive. So vegetation will grow very nicely. They are the world richest agricultural productive zones. This is a point to be noted here. And coming to the next area, tropical biomes, here the sunlight is always present. So when the sunlight is always present, obviously the weathering rate will be very higher. When the weathering rate is higher, the soil formation is very higher. So it can support more of vegetation since it is nothing but minerals. I'll make you host and leave the mineral. Okay. Okay, Chris. Okay, Chris. So tropical rainforest, this area, rainfall throughout the year. Throughout the year, you will get rainfall. They are the highest biodiversity area. These things we have discussed enough in our offline classes, sir. Right, sir? So rainfall throughout the year. And one different phenomenon taking place here, since the rainfall is very higher, the intensity of rainfall is, I can tell 24/7 rainfall will be there. So say for example, Amazon rainforest in Brazil, that is called as the lungs of the world. That forest itself is contributing around 40% of oxygen, right? So again, the biodiversity is higher. The number of living organisms, either it may be a plant species or animal species, it is higher in this area. And one pitiful condition here it is, due to the rainfall intensity, the organic matter, even though it is formed continuously, it will be leached off. It will be washed off. So I can tell very clearly that this area is rich of more of nutrients. Even though the source is higher, the vegetation is there, the little material may fall here and it can add up of organic matter. That is a condition normally we expect here. But out of erosional activity, the organic matter, there is no time frame for the organic matter to get added and adhered into the soil. Once it is added, once it is formed, the humus will be washed off. It will be drained out to the adjacent area. This is a problem with this kind of tropical rainforest, sir. Higher biodiversity. If I am moving from this area to this area, the biodiversity will be reducing. If I'm moving from top to down, it is vice versa. Understand, sir? This is all about biomes. And coming to functions of ecosystem. So now the ecosystem, how it is being formed, what is the structure I am seeing in an external factor that is being discussed, sir. How it is being formed, sir. I'm getting a structure, something as a deciduous forest. I'm seeing something as a rainforest, seeing something as a temperate zone. What is the kind of interaction? Who are the components? Are the basic thing, the primary hero is the producer. Okay, sir. They have the capacity to produce make their own food, and they form the lower ladder. and we all are dependent on this particular producer. So if I have a linear fashion of alternative food source, if I have a linear fashion of consumed and being consumed, organism consumed and being consumed in a linear fashion, that is called as food chain. I can count the number of organisms present here, that's all. The number of organisms is very limited in case of food chain, whereas in a food web, it is the all possible combination of food chain that makes a food web. I can tell an interwoven food chain makes a food web. Here in this first category, there is no alternative food source. Okay, sir. If alternative food source is not available, then what happens? This ecosystem will collapse. Understand, sir? When there is no feeding mechanism for the producer even, so see, there is only grass and these organisms are not present at all, then these grasses will be overproduced, and at one point of time, the soil nutrients will be vanished. By this way, the entire area will be desertified. Right, sir? So a chain of reaction is needed, and even with the alternative food source. When the alternative food source is available, say here, if the frog is missing, the snake can feed upon the rat, the snake can feed upon the grasshopper, snakes can feed upon some smaller animals. So even if one organism is lost, the ecosystem will not be collapsed. So I can tell the stability of the ecosystem is highly registered in case of food web, whereas the stability of ecosystem is question mark in case of food chain, because of the limited availability or alternative availability of food sources limited here. Okay, now we coming to the next one, sir. How to classify this ecosystem, sir? So ecosystem, mostly it will be of natural ecosystem. Now we are constructing aquatic ecosystem at our home, a swimming pool, aquarium. These are artificial. Human constructed anthropogenic activities, we are constructing dam. That is not, dam is not present thyself. It is created artificially. So any ecosystem at the broader extent, we can classify it as natural or else artificial ecosystem. Okay, again, it may be either water, that is aquatic, or else the land surface, terrestrial ecosystem. So we'll try to finish this aquatic first. So how to classify this aquatic ecosystem? When I'm telling something as aquatic ecosystem, water is the predominantly determining factor. So in water, even I can segregate, make some separation that something will be fresh water and something will be salt water. So what determines the freshness or saltness of the particular aquatic ecosystem, sir? Can anyone, sir? Can anyone text me how to classify the aquatic ecosystem? On what basis I have to classify? Is there any criteria to classify this less than 5 ppm? Thank you, Pankaj. It is salt. So as a common sense, I can tell the dissolved salt content, based on the dissolved salt content only, I can classify an aquatic ecosystem. That is one manner. That is one method. That is a basic method. The amount of salt present in the aquatic ecosystem, that will tells us whether it is potable or not. Okay, I can't go and drink seawater because the dissolved salt content is higher. The NaCl, the sodium chloride level is very higher. Whereas in fresh water, if I'm drinking rainwater, if I'm drinking pond water, this level of salt dissolved here, it is less. So based on this, we can classify if it is less than 5 ppm. If it is less than 5 ppm, it is called as fresh water. If it is above 35, it is called as exclusively marine, right? Marine aquatic ecosystem, marine ecosystem. Whereas some ranges, some aquatic ecosystem is between 5 to 35. The salt range is between this. This is called as brackish water or brackish aquatic ecosystem. This is one and basic way to classify aquatic ecosystem. There are some other criteria even. Okay, some aquatic ecosystem, it will be stable. It will be present throughout the year constantly in one particular place. say lake ecosystem. It is always in my village there is a pond. Always I'm seeing the pond. Always I'm seeing the lake. It is present there. But rivers, they used to get shifted. They used to flow. They are not standstill. Some aquatic things are standstill and something are flowing. So flowing is called as lotic, FLO, flow. Whereas something which is stagnant, that is called as lentic. This is one way to classify aquatic ecosystem, again based on its mobility. If it is mobile, if it is moving, it is lotic. Examples, rivers and streams. If it is stagnant, then it is called as lentic. Ponds and lakes comes under lentic ecosystem. So this is freshwater ecosystem, and marine, we know that it is about 35 ppt. Excuse me. And terrestrial land ecosystem, it may be either a forest, it may be a desert and grassland ecosystem. Okay, sir. And there are some area where these two different ecosystems, see, this is a terrestrial ecosystem and this is an aquatic ecosystem. These two ecosystem, aquatic ecosystem and a terrestrial ecosystem, two different ecosystem, they meet at this point, this meeting place of two different ecosystem. What do you call this, sir? These things we have finished, sir. Ecotone, right, sir? The tone of the two different ecosystems are different. Now they are at the initial stage of this mixing. Okay, say, sir, previously there is a separation between the terrestrial ecosystem. So this is a land and mass and this is a water body. Some organisms are exclusively living in this aquatic ecosystem. Okay, aquatic organisms, they have not yet seen the land mass. They have completely spending their life cycle within the aquatic ecosystem. But fortunately, unfortunately, over a period of time, these two areas are mixing. Now, the minerals present in this area, they will get added in this area. The minerals present in the dissolved form, they will wash off this littoral zone, adjacent landmass. Now there will be intermixing of nutrients in this area. That is the first thing. There is a nutrient flux which is taking place in this area. Okay, nutrient flux will be happening in this area. That's why this area is energy rich. Always the ecotone will be energy rich. So some area, some organism which is present in this, towards this extent in the aquatic ecosystem, they will be a bit hesitant to come to this terrestrial area. Some organism, they will to this area at the periphery of the aquatic ecosystem, they will have a chance, better chance to come to this terrestrial ecosystem or else to the ecotone. They have to come here because a situational demand is there. So see, sir, if you are in a village in Assam, okay, if I'm there in a village in Karnataka, if I want to aspire for civil services, okay, I'm very much comfortable in my place, in my village, spending time with my fellow folks, knowing my own language. Okay, but if I want to come to a city, understand, sir, it is a conglomeration. There is it is composed of various cultures, ethics, which is different for me. But I am in a high demand because that town or urban area, it is supporting me for some classes, civil services classes. If I want to purchase a magazine, I have to come to that urban area. I will dare to face all of the oddities. Okay, I have to wear proper clothes. I have to speak in such a manner there. I have to spend some money. So I will overcome all of these hurdles to reach that area because there is a situational demand for me, because it is offering me something which is not available in my place. That is the point, sir. Which is not available in my place. See, in this place, something is not available to me, to this aquatic organism. So in this place, out of excessive nutrients, some new species, some fish species, which is very, very tastier, which is nutrient rich, it will be present here. Understand, sir? So at one point of some time, some bigger fish, which was exclusively present in this area, they will dare to come to this area and to feed upon this fish species, which has thrived upon over a period of time out of the excessive nutrients. Understand, sir? So at the initial stage, from both the side, there will be some tension prevailing between this organism, among this organism, to live in this comfortable zone. Later only it will turn as a comfortable zone. At the initial stage, there will be a tension because previously this organism, say if it is a tortoise, these tortoise are landowners, they won't come here. They are happy about being here. So say some swan, they will be present in the water ecosystem, okay, which was completely marine. Now they will come here because ample food is present here. So to derive this food, they have to face some hardships. The same manner how we are doing after completing of your graduation, say in engineering or else some medical field or any field it may be. If you want to lead a simple life, then in your domain, in your field itself, you can go for some jobs, but it will fetch us some minimum salary or else a minimum aspirant is fulfilled here. You will not get elevated in the society. That's why you are daring, losing your youthful age, spending more of money, spending more of time, burdening more to overcome all of these struggles and hurdles. At last only we can achieve being as a getting into services. Right, sir? So same thing happens. This area is called as zone of tension. Okay, these organisms, both the organisms, which is exclusive present terrestrial and aquatic, at the initial time, they have to overcome, and this will become this ecotone is always called as zone of tension at the initial stage. Later, it will be a comfortable one. Once you are into services, after undergoing your training, then it will be on the icing on the cake, right, sir? The same. Now I can't go back to my preparation mode after getting into the service. I can't tell still more. It is a struggling field for me. We have to, once the struggle is being come across, now it is a comfortable zone because they got used to this area. They got accustomed to this area. Understand, sir? They will get acclimatized to this area. They will get accommodated to this area. Now, these organisms will be having some new kind of features, which is not present exclusively in the aquatic or else terrestrial. Now their habits, now their physical features, now their behavior, they will completely change. We can apply to our real life events, sir. So see some turtles, some crabs present in this area, in the ecotone area, they will be having a very stronger shell. The outer covering will be very stronger, but this thing I can't find which is present exclusively in the aquatic ecosystem. Because in this aquatic ecosystem, if a crab is present, the crab can derive the limited minerals available or specific mineral which is available only in this aquatic ecosystem, the cut-off aquatic ecosystem. Now the aquatic ecosystem is joining here, more of nutrients is being added here. Now more of minerals availability for the crab. So with a bit of hesitation, this crab will come inside. They will invade to this ecotone area, the zone of tension at the initial stage. Now it is blessed with more of minerals. They will start eating that, and the cell will become more of stronger. And it will be having more of medicinal property. If I consume this crab which is present in the ecotone, it will be having more of medicinal property because it is having more of minerals in that. That minerals, if I consume, I will be get healed of some diseases, say some respiratory disorder, say some overcome anemic problem, so overcoming some fertility problem, everything will be satisfied in this ecotone. So I can tell this is zone of tension. This is a nutrient flux area. And one more thing, what happens, sir? Here, over a period of time, I told there will be a bit of hesitation at the initial stage only. Once you are into the preparatory mode in a full swing, Okay, it takes only 1 day for revision of a particular subject. If you are completely done with the concepts of polity before examination, the Lakshmikant book you will revise within half day. That is the comfortable zone you will achieve after long years of preparation. After say some 4 months of preparation only, this comfortable revision zone will be achieved. If you are not overcoming, taking notes, making some inference, making some interconnection, this easiness will not be achieved. Understand, sir? Now here there will be a comfortable zone. They can thrive, aram say. That's why biodiversity is higher in the ecotone. This is the inference. So biodiversity is very higher. Okay. So here the species present here is called as edge species. Since both of the organisms are coming from both the edges of the ecosystem, say some terrestrial ecosystem as well as aquatic ecosystem, they are called as edge species. And these species, over a period of time, they will outnumber the other organisms. The population of organisms present here will be very much higher compared to the adjacent area in a ecotone. This particular condition is called as edge effect. Understand, sir? So edge effect is because of nutrient flux. Edge effect is because of ecotone. Biodiversity is higher here. It is previously called as zone of tension. It is a transitional zone that is present here, sir. It is called as a transition. It is no more a complete terrestrial, no more a complete aquatic ecosystem. Both the ecosystem will contribute, and now it is a separate ecosystem that is. Any doubts you have, sir? Do you have any doubts in this ecotone? So wherever there is ecotone, obviously the biodiversity will be higher. This is the inference. The final inference what I can derive is, so in this diagram we have seen terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem. Okay. Whereas here it is deciduous forest and a grassland ecosystem. See here, sir, the left side of this slide, deciduous forest and a grassland. So this is also an example of a grassland forest is present. It is also an ecotone. So wherever I'm seeing ecotone, obviously the biodiversity will be higher. In this area, more of birds will come. Migratory birds will come here because always there is assured food sources. So hunting will be there. Predators will be present here. Understand, sir? More of predators will be present here. Hunting, it may get converted as hunting land, gaming land. Understand, sir? So next we got shifted to ecological pyramids. This is part and parcel of functions of ecosystem. Okay, so the energy at the initial level we have seen, when I'm telling something as food chain, it is moving in a linear fashion. The all possible interwoven thing is called as food web, and it indicates higher biodiversity. So how do I calculate this, sir? How I have to calculate this? So initially, giving this in a diagrammatic form, what is the energy status of a particular ecosystem? So I'm studying about the energy status of a particular ecosystem, say forest, whether the forest is productive, for how long years it will be viable. Okay, if I am exploiting that forest in the same manner, whether it will be productive, sir. Say if there is an aquatic ecosystem, I have to analyze this. After analyzing, I have to give a report that this is the energy level of the particular ecosystem. And after calculating, after doing enumeration, okay, then I can give a result that this particular pond will last for a particular time period. So bringing this in a pyramid form, that is ecological pyramid. Okay, so this is the precedence, what we took place, what is going on in calculating the energy level of an ecosystem. So we started calculating this with numbers at the initial stage. Then we shifted to biomass calculation, and finally energy. We will discuss in exam point of view. Since it's a kind of revision, I will make it faster. So pyramid of numbers. So whatever components present in an ecosystem, we have to enumerate individually. We have to count individually. So say, sir, grassland ecosystem, always the thumb rule for making a pyramid is, the thumb rule is the base should be always occupied by the producer. The size of the producer doesn't matter. Okay, sir. The producer should be present always at the base of the pyramids. Let it may be any kind of pyramid. In energy pyramid, see here, producer is present. In pyramid of biomass, producer is present. Algae. In pyramids of numbers, trees are present. Anything it may be. Obviously, it should be a producer occupying the base of the pyramid. It is nothing but a pictorial representation, sir. Actually, the scientific way is different. We are giving the result in a pictorial form. So, take pyramid of numbers in a grassland ecosystem. The number of grasses will be comparatively higher. And, okay, sir, the grasshopper number will be lower than grasses. Like this way, the consumer number will be reducing when I'm moving from one tropic level to another tropic level. The word here is tropic level. Tropic means energy level. Understand, sir? So the energy from one, these are the primary energy level because they are independent. They derive their own energy. They produce their own food using sunlight. They are the only group producers. Through photosynthesis, they make this. Whereas after the vegetation, after the algae, everyone are consumers, only the size matters here. Whether it is a big consumer or small consumer, right? So size matters. The producer, whether it is smaller or bigger, here size doesn't matter. Even the algae that we have seen, right, sir, blue-green algae, they are single-celled organism, still they have the capacity to produce their own food. All of the algae, that it may be red algae, all kind of algae, they have still they are smaller in size, the size doesn't matter. They have the fundamental principle of what's the photosynthesis, and they can synthesize their own food, right? That's why algae even is figured under producer group, right? So pyramid of numbers, I'm enumerating the number of organisms. In case of grassland, the pyramid is getting upright, whereas in case of forest ecosystem, I have to enumerate the number of trees. Here I have taken the example of a single tree. Is it possible, sir, while speaking about ecosystem, a tree visualized without sense, I can tell it is a single tree. But a single tree, even it is an ecosystem, right, sir? The ecosystem means various components of nature associated, right? Both biotic and as well as abiotic factors are associated. See, in the root area, various microbes will be present. In the soil adjacent to the root area, earthworms will be present, right? So various insects will be present in the barks, in the stem, or the canopy, right, sir? So various birds will be present. Some reptiles will be even present in this trees. So I can claim this individual tree as an ecosystem. So the producer here it is only a single tree. So I have taken at the base single tree as a producer. But over the tree, many number of birds will be present. Okay, sir. More than here, I have to count each and every individual. So here the producer is only one individual. But it is a producer, it has formed the base. The base is narrowed down. But over the tree, more number of birds are present, right, sir? Many number of birds are present. Within a single bird, many parasites will be present. So see, we are a human being. In my head, if I have lice, more of lice will be present. Head louse will be present, right, sir? In the same manner, in the bird's body, more number of parasites. And the parasites will be infected by more number of hyperparasites. So likewise, the number is increasing if I'm moving from bit of numbers and it is getting inverted. It is getting an inverted direction. So this method is not suitable, sir, because I should not get two results for the same thing. If I'm applying a formula for a single formula. If the formula is right, the formula should have to give me the same answer. But here I have chosen pyramid of numbers as a methodology to enumerate the energy, but it is giving different answers for two different things, sir. The same thing, pyramid of biomass. In case of aquatic ecosystem, right? So in case of aquatic ecosystem, it is biomass. It is nothing but the weightage of the particular organisms. What is the dry weight? Okay, if actually this is wrong. If I take grassland, if I apply pyramid of biomass, means I have to weigh each and every organism that is a producer. If it is a grassland ecosystem, or else if it is a tree ecosystem, right, sir, the weight of the tree will be higher. That's why it can support various birds. Otherwise, the tree will fall aside. In the same manner, in the grassland ecosystem, the producer weight will be higher compared to all other things. So always pyramid of biomass in the tree ecosystem or grassland ecosystem, here it should be trees or grassland, it will be upright. Whereas in aquatic ecosystem, see, the producer is algae. If I weigh the weight of the algae, the weight is very less. But the algae is being fed by small fishes, their weight is comparatively higher. Likewise, the weight will be increasing when I'm moving from one trophic level to another trophic level in an aquatic ecosystem, and it gets inverted. If I'm taking weight as a category, dry weight as a category, biomass is nothing but dry weight of an organism. So this method is also wrong. Finally, pyramid of energy. So to whatever system I apply this particular methodology, because energy, it is always unidirectional, right, sir? It is always unidirectional, and only the producer have the capacity to do the photosynthesis. From producer, they are the source of energy for all we consumers. So obviously, the producer will be, it may be of any ecosystem. The producer will be having higher level of energy. When it is being consumed, some of the energy will be retained by the producer itself for its own metabolism. Right, sir? If I eat some amount of, say, 1000, I'm taking 1000 calories in my morning breakfast. I can't give output fully to you guys the 1000 calories of energy by speaking. So say some 400 calories which I consume within the 1000 calories will be utilized for my normal cell functioning, for my metabolism, and all of my senses. With the limited 600 or 500 or let me be anything, that only I can spend it as energy by speaking. So some amount of energy will be retained by me for my own survival, for my own happenings. In the same manner, the producer, if it produces 100%, only 10% will be transferred to the next trophic level. So see, take it as a cabbage waste or cabbage anything. So it is being eaten by insects. The insect, the larva will get what, sir? Only 10% of the energy from this thing. So like this way, if it is moving from one trophic level to another trophic level, always there will be reduction in energy. See, 10% is getting reduced from one trophic level to another trophic level. This is called as 10% law. Okay, sir. So if it is reducing, the base will be obviously broader. So pyramid of energy will be always upright for any ecosystem. That's why this system suits for all ecosystem, giving an upright position and more suitable methodology. Proves to be more suitable methodology. Understand, sir? So if you want to take an example, if I apply this pyramid of energy for this inverted condition, say pyramid of biomass where I am calculating the dry weight of the organisms. So here the weight of the algae is comparatively lesser. It's less. But if I take the energy level, the algae will be having, say, some 1000 calories. 1000 calories of energy is present in the algae, even though the weight is low. But this, from these 1000 calories only, 100 calories will be available to the next level. Right, sir? And 10 calories will be available to the next level, that is the bigger fish. So here the base will become broader, that is at the producer level, and it will get tapered at the topmost area. And the inverted now inverted pyramid has become upright pyramid. If I apply pyramid of energy to this particular category, so pyramid of energy, it will always gives upright pyramid only. It is more suitable. It never ever gets inverted. So it suits to all of the ecosystem and gives the same result. Right, sir? So rest of the things we will be discussing tomorrow, sir. Do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts, sir? Then thank you, sir. Take rest. Take rest. Have a nice time. Rest of the things we'll be seeing tomorrow, sir. Thank you so much for everyone. Thank you so much, sir. Shall we wind up, sir? Thank you, Taba. Thank you, Taba. Thank you, Pangas. Thank you, Vinita. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Sneha. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.